of ISC 2008, and I call it statistics and histogram because in this what you have to do is you have to enter a paragraph which consists of multiple sentences terminated by either a full stop or a comma or an exclamation mark or a question mark, and then you have to first display the statistics, that is, in sentence 1 how many vowels are there and how many words are there, in sentence 2 how many vowels are there and how many words are there, and then they ask you to make a sort of histogram in the text mode. Can you see this? Here V's are depicting the number of vowels and W's are depicting the number of words. Is it making some sense? Just have a look at it.
So these are depicting the number of vowels, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, visa, and there is a scaling factor of 1:3. It's not 1:1. Please notice. Now, please understand. We'll also see how we can arrive at a good scaling factor. Now, this is just an example. I mean, how many V's or W's you can fit depends on how what is the screen resolution. Like I can decrease it by a few notches, and then I can fit more. I can increase it, and then I can have less. So it depends actually, right? So don't just fix it at 1:3, because if you fix it at 1:3, someone might type a sentence with lots of words and lots of vowels, or only vowels for that matter, and then your output will be spoiled.
Okay.
Okay, is the question clear?
Yes.
Now, and one more thing, please notice, if you notice the sentence, they are saying that assume that there will be a maximum of 10 sentences in a block letters. That's the idea behind this, is that this is a fairly old question, and at that point of time there was an option that students can either use Java or C++. So in C++ at that point of time, dynamic string allocation was not there. That's why they did this. But right now this is not useful for us. Okay, so there is no need to, like here we can declare the size whatever we want. At that point of time things were a bit different. Is the question clear?
Yes, that's clear.
So we'll be entering a paragraph, we'll splitting it into sentence, then we'll compute the number of vowels and number of words for each sentence, and then we'll draw the histogram. Any doubts in the question? Please ask now.
No, sir, it's clear.
Okay, so let's begin. Here we are. So we'll have to first take the input. So I'll say string paragraph is equal to new, not new, sorry, in dot next line. So this takes the paragraph. When we'll create a class. What should be the name of the class? What would you like it to be? Sentence?
Yeah.
Or text?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
call it text.
Okay, sir.
That will look better. So we'll say class text, and here we'll say that okay, text obj is equal to new text, and then we'll pass the paragraph which has been entered by the user. Once this is done, we'll have to do two things. We'll say obj dot show stats. Okay, this will display the statistics, and then we'll say obj dot plot histogram, and this will plot the histogram. Does it sound okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we come in our class, we'll create a data member private string, and let's say we'll call it sentence. There will be one array for storing the sentences. There will be one array for that will not be a string, that will be an integer. There will be another array for storing the number of words in the ith sentence, so we'll call it word. There will be one more for storing the vowels, and we'll call it vowel. Any doubt till this point?
No, sir.
No. Okay, so this is done. Now we'll proceed to creating the constructor. So we'll say public text. This will accept the paragraph, and then here we'll say that okay, this dot, we don't need the paragraph, so we'll just directly do our thing. Okay, so we need the sentence now. So we'll say that okay, sentence, let me check the spelling. Yeah, sentence is equal to paragraph dot split, and we have to split it on multiple characters, so we'll use a regular expression, and in regular expression to denote multiple characters we use a box bracket. So within the box bracket we'll give the characters which are there as terminators. So those are dot, comma, question mark, exclamation mark, and question mark. So we'll say dot, comma, question mark, and exclamation mark, and then we'll give a semicolon. Any doubts in this? Now, just to show you what is happening in this case, I'll press enter and I'll say system.out.println, and we'll just print the entire sentence. So we'll say how to print it? Arrays.toString. So we'll say arrays.toString. This is just for debugging so that you can understand what is happening, and then I'll say sentence. And now what we'll do is we'll quickly run this program with the first input, which actually that's the only input which I have given. Control C. I come over here, I run it. Oh, it won't run because the other two functions are not there. So hold on. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to comment these lines so that it runs right now. So now we save it again, compile it. We'll say run Java. Okay. So compiling. Okay, there we are. I give the input, I press enter, and there you see hello is first sentence, how are you, comma is second sentence, hope everything is fine is another sentence, best of luck is another sentence. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Okay, so we have separated the sentences. Now next is we want the count of what? First the number of words and the number of vowels. Now number of words is actually quite simple. You have to just count the number of white spaces, and white spaces plus 1 will give you the number of words. For vowels we have to check. So I think we should have a nice little function to do the job. So we'll say what you say, compute stat, compute
Yes, sir.
stats, and then we'll go inside the function compute stat. So we'll say public void, or rather private void, isn't it? Private void compute stats, and this function will calculate the statistics. So let's run for each sentence. Okay, so how to do it? What's your suggestion?
So we have to write each sentence, and like when we encounter the first sentence.
Okay, so I is equal to 0, I is less than sentence dot length, and then we say I plus plus. So this is our first loop, and for each sentence what you have to do?
So first we have to check the number of white spaces, and
okay, let's do it.
vowels.
So that means we have to take one more loop, isn't it?
Yes.
So that can be a what you call enhance for. So we'll say char ch,
Yes.
or let it be, we'll just use the normal way, int, or I'm not liking the wordings. Okay, anyway, j is equal to 0, j is less than
J is
sentence of I dot length, right?
yes.
Oops, sorry, I dot length, and then j plus plus. And now we have to extract one character at a time, and for that we'll create a local variable called ch, and here we'll say that okay, ch is equal to, the spelling of sentence is wrong, sentenc, right?
And so it should be J is there in sentence. So
Oh sorry, yes, this is also j. So now we have to say sentence of I dot char at j, right? So that way we'll take out one character at a time. Now we have to check whether this character is a white space or not. So we'll say that if character dot, actually we don't even need to check for white space, we can just manage with the space. So what will you prefer, because the question clearly told us so?
since the question is mentioning, we can just use it
Exactly.
with
That's a better idea.
space.
Ch equal to space. So if it is a space, we'll say word of I plus plus. Make sense? Now we have to count the number of vowels, and we can do it here, or we can make a function. What will you prefer? Make a function?
Okay, sir, but if we make a function, then we should name this function as just compute words, like, or count the number of words or something.
No, I'm saying we can make a function for is vowel. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, so we can make a function.
So let's make it. So we'll say private static boolean is vowel, and we'll pass the character which we want to check, and then we'll just simply say that okay, we need a list of vowels. So we'll say that okay, vowels equals to a e i o u, a e i o u, and here this will become a one liner. We'll say return vowels dot index of, we'll search for that character in the string of vowel. If it gives more than or equal to 0, that means our character is a vowel. Are we missing something over here? Oh, the function is not. So we just say static string vowels. Now the problem is resolved. Yes. So we come over here, and now we'll say that if is vowel ch, then what we need to do? We say vowel of I plus plus. So when this loop completes, our stats will be calculated. Word will contain the number of words, vowel will contain the number of vowels in each sentence. Any doubts on this portion?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's uncomment one of the lines and see. No, we cannot uncomment right now. We have to say show stats also. So we'll make one more function. We'll call it public void show stats, which will actually display the stats in the given format. So what's the format? The format is, we are saying this line sentence number of words. So we'll just copy paste this. Output we have already displayed, right? So we'll just say over here system dot out dot println. We'll paste that string over here, but we'll replace these spaces by slash t. So this becomes a slash t, as well as this becomes a slash t. So the header is displayed. Now we have to print the other things for each line. So we again need this very same loop which we declared over here. Just to save some time, I'll copy paste that loop. Okay. Now we have to print the individual things. So by individual things, I mean system dot out dot println. Now notice, this is an array, so the indexing is starting from 0, but they were printing from 1. So the first thing which we'll print is I plus 1. Once I plus 1 is printed, we'll give a separator slash t. Then the number of vowels, so we'll say vowel of the ith sentence, plus we'll again give a separator that is slash t, and then we'll say word of I, that means number of words in the ith sentence. So this should display the stats. Clear? Let's check it out. So we'll go over here, we uncomment this line to see whether this is working or not. I'll also copy the sentence which is here, and then we go over here and then we run. So when we run, there we are. It is asking, no, hold on, there's some problem. The method show stats is undefined for the type text. Okay, show stats. What's the name of the function? Show stats. Okay, let us run it once more. So Control Shift V, and we press enter, and there is again an error. Null pointer exception cannot load int array because this dot vowel is null. Where at line number 20 it is saying is vowel ch is null. Is it making sense to you?
No, sir.
Hold on, let me check. Java.lang.null cannot load from an int array. Int array? Vowel of I plus plus.
So have we defined vowel as string? Somewhere.
No, vowel is integer here. Oh, we forgot to create the arrays in the constructor. That's the problem. So once you have done this, we'll have to initialize both the arrays with the number of words. So that we forgot. So we have to say that, okay, word is equal to new int and the length will be equal to number of sentences. So sentence dot length, and then we have to do the same thing for the vowel also. So we'll say vowel is equal to the same thing. Right now the program is going to work. And did I copy pasted something? Yes. So again we have to go over here and copy the sentence. Okay, so there we are. The formatting is not okay, but I believe we are getting the same output. 20538433 2153. Okay, plus we forgot the plus one also.
Plus one, yes.
Okay, so the number of words is actually equal to one more than the number of spaces, and number of vowel is what we count it to be, and the slash t's are also not aligned. So we'll quickly go over here, and we need two slash t's over here because these numbers are not very big. Slash t goes over here, and that should take care of it.
So you have incremented the word at the wrong place.
Where? Let me check.
So you have increased its length. We have to increase it in the counter.
Hold on. Where you have? I don't understand. Repeat once more what you're saying.
So you have incremented the length of the word I.
I have incremented the length of the. Oh, sorry. That plus one has to go over. When we are computing, then here we'll say, no? No. Wait.
No, sir, in the outer loop.
This is the sentence we are taking out, and this is running for the number of sentences. I think we should just go out and then increase it once more. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the better idea. I'll just copy it from here, and when we are out of this sentence, we'll add it once more. Okay, again, one more time, we'll copy this sentence from here, we come back, and let's run it. So Control Shift V, we press enter. Again, one more slash t is required, but now the output is matching. No, it's not matching. So what's wrong now?
Sir, the thing is actually that it is copying the space after how also. So there's a space after how. After every exclamation mark, there's a space. So,
Okay, right. So the solution is, what's the solution according to you now? This is the nice thing.
so we can just add a space before the sentence, before the first sentence.
Anything else anything else we can do?
Also, we can, or we have to trim.
So when we are taking out the sentences, here we are doing it, right?
Yes, sir. No, I'm not saying that we add something here. I am saying that before we are splitting the original sentence, we just add a space in the beginning, so that the first sentence will also have a space in the beginning,
So
and then we won't have to increase word by one. Also, it will
why
automatically
not trim
count
it?
the next.
Why not trim it inside? Isn't that a better idea?
Yes, sir, but it will just take another loop.
Okay,
This
hold
way
on.
we won't have to
Let
run
me
into
think.
loop.
We are taking it one character at a time. We are not splitting it into words, right? That's the whole issue. I don't want to do it that way. I mean, that doesn't sounding good. We are changing the data, isn't it? What do you say?
Yes, sir.
So what you are suggesting will require us to change the data. So okay, let's do one thing. We'll use the cleaner way of doing it, but then other way will require us to create an actual array, isn't it?
Yes, sir. If we try to split it and then calculate the number of words for every sentence, then we have to create another array. And
so what will be better now? Just let us debate on this. What will be better or cleaner, actually? You want to modify the actual sentence.
Also, we don't actually modify the sentence. We just, after transferring it to the array, we just add a space in the 0th location. Then this way, we don't have to modify the actual. Actually, really modifying actually the sentence.
So I believe that splitting again is a better idea. What do you say? Isn't it?
So, okay, we can split it.
Okay, so where? Before this? Just before this?
So if we are splitting again, then we don't actually
Need
need to
the.
count the words.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that will be an advantage also, and that will be foolproof because we'll be using an API for that.
Okay, sir.
So
We have to split it here.
yeah, so we'll just say a string, what to call it, buffer or temp. It's actually a temp thing, right? So there is a temporary array which we'll create. We don't need to do this now, right? Even this is not required. This will modify after some time. And then we come over here and we'll say, or let's do the vowel thing and then do it later. What do you say?
Okay, so we can
Here.
do it anyway.
So we'll say
We have
temp is
to
equal to sentence dot split, and we'll split it on
space.
a space or the other characters also, na?
So we only have spaces now.
We only have spaces, so I think this will do the job. No, but there can be more than one space, right? No, but no, there cannot be more than one space.
Yes, only one space is available.
So we'll split it on space, and then we'll say that, okay, word of I is equal to temp dot length plus 1, right?
No, so now we don't need length plus 1.
Number of words, otherwise, okay, now we don't need plus 1 because that's giving us the length of the array.
Yes.
And what's the error over here? Oh, sentence, it's not sentence, it is sentence of I. So this will split the ith sentence on space, and then that should do the job. We'll again need the whole sentence. So Control C, we come over here and let's run it.
It's still.
Is there an input is not proper or something?
Yes, sir, that's what I'm saying. After every punctuation, there is a space, but in the front,
It's not there.
So the input is not symmetric actually. That's why in
Hold
split
on.
also.
No, in split we are splitting on space, right?
Yes, sir. So first there will be an empty string there. There will be nothing because just the first character is a space.
So we again come back to the same thing. We have to trim.
Yes.
Okay, let's do the trimming. So if we have to do the trim, hold on. So let me just go back a bit. So this is it. So if we have to trim, the best point to trim is like over here, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So I'll say that sentence of I is equal to sentence of I dot trim.
So I have a better idea.
Yes, what is it?
If we don't want to modify the array,
actually, please understand, we actually interpreted it in the wrong fashion. Please understand, we are not modifying the user's input, that is paragraph. We are modifying our own array, and that shouldn't be the problem. We just overlooked it initially.
Okay, sir. So if we are yes, sir. So in that case, then we don't need trim. We can just modify the 0th input in our array.
How will you modify the array? Array strings are immutable. What you are saying?
No, so in the 0th input, we can add a space, can't we?
No, you can't. No, you can't. I mean, why not remove it and finish it off?
So trim will take a loop. Adding a space will not take a loop.
Adding a space will also take a loop because the computer will create a second string and then it will do the concatenation. Please understand, strings are immutable. Whenever you perform any operation, a separate string character array is created.
And so for the zeroth loop, we zeroth sentence, we just have to do it once. But for the rest of the sentences, we will have to do it again and again.
Okay, so you are saying that outside the loop, but what if the input is different? No, input won't be different. Even if it, okay. So you are saying, and I believe that's a better method, that outside the loop for the zeroth sentence, you'll add a space at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, not a bad idea. Though this looks odd, but this is a better way of doing it. So we'll say that zeroth sentence should be equal to a space plus the zeroth sentence. Clear? Okay, so this is a better way, though this looks like a patchwork, but from the efficiency point of view, this is a better idea. So let us run it once more. We press enter. And now what happens? Still not working. No, oh, we forgot that plus
to
one.
remove the word plus.
Yes, so this is extra now, so that goes away. We run it once more. And now we'll paste it, we press enter, and there you are. Now this is correct. Okay, now the alignment is not proper. We need one more /t. So we'll go to this show stats function and then we'll add one more /t, and that will take care of the alignment problem. So let's paste Control Shift V, press enter, and there you are. Now we move on to the last part, and the last part is we have to say sentence number so and so, and then we have to repeat that character that many times. So first we should have a repeat function to do the job, isn't it? Because it has to be called twice. So anything which is required multiple times, we should create a function for it. What do you say? Okay, so let's quickly have a repeat function. So we'll say private string, we'll call it repeat, and repeat function will accept two things: repeat what and int times. What is to be repeated and how many times it is to be repeated. We'll say string output equal to nothing, and then we'll run a loop. We'll say int I is equal to 1, I is less than equal to times I plus plus, and then we'll simply repeat. We'll say output plus is equal to output plus is equal to what, and once we are out, we'll say return output. So the repetition part is taken care of. Clear? Now we need the last function, and that is plot histogram. So let's have this function. So we come over here and we say public void plot histogram, and inside that histogram we'll again have to display the header first, and the header is same. No, it's not same. Header is this time string number of words. So we'll just copy the header. We come over here and we'll say that okay, system.out.println, and we'll display the header straight away. And even though we are displaying it straight away, we'll have a /t over here. We won't rely on the spaces. So this takes care of the header. Now the number of lines, how many times it has to be repeated for each sentence, right? So for each sentence means that we can again copy this loop for the number of sentences. So we come down and I say that okay, run this loop for each sentence. Okay, now system.out.println, what we have to print? We have to print the ith sentence, so I plus 1, and then we have to do, yes, now what? We have to repeat what? First we have to repeat the number of vowels. So we'll say that vowels, we'll use the character V, and how many times? Now this is the main thing. How many times?
So now we have
Now
to,
here we have to make
yes,
certain assumptions or estimates. So
vowels.
here, let's say we want to display our graph inside this width, the whole space we want to use as much as we have. So let's say that this is, let's say 50 characters. So I don't want to hard code it. So what I'll do is I'll go at the top and we'll create one variable for it. Let's say we create it here only. Inside this plot histogram, I'll say that, okay, there is a variable called width,
Okay, so,
or let's call it available width. Or is it too long? What will you say? Width? There is no other width, so it will be available width only. So we'll say that, okay, that let's say the available width or the width is 50. Now try to express that. What should be the scaling factor now? Come on, think of an expression. What should be the scaling
okay, so
factor?
yes, sir.
The width is 50. Now please understand, the number of words may be more than the available width also in the extreme case. And please understand, the visiting examiners are instructed to give border cases. So they might do it. Lots of sentences which might not actually fit. They might copy paste it from, let's say, Java documentation or something. Lots of things are possible, isn't it? And you might be knowing, like if you open Microsoft Word and you say equal to RAND and then you say 20,20, it will randomly create 20 paragraphs with 20 sentences each. So those kind of things are possible. So don't think that they don't have time to type. They'll simply copy paste from somewhere. So what to do now? So basically we just have to divide width by the number of the maximum number of words which are there. So we have to, exactly. So we need to have the max, whether it is the maximum column or whether it's the maximum,
Yes, sir.
max
So
from
that's
either this or
suppose,
max from this array, isn't it? Whatever the maximum number is in the second or the third column, that will dictate what should be the scaling factor. So let's compute max. So for that,
yes,
what
the
we'll do,
max,
we'll create one
the
variable
maximum
over
of
here
the
and
max.
we'll call it simply max. And then where we are computing the stats, we'll first say that, okay, max is equal to 0. Initially, we'll say max is equal to 0. And then we'll say over here that, okay, if vowel of, no, we will do it outside. Once it's computed, then why waste time? Otherwise, every time it will check. So we come over here and we'll say that if vowel of the ith sentence is more than max, then max is equal to vowel of I. And then we need to do the same thing for the words also. So if word of I is more than max, then max is equal to word of I. So once this compute thing is finished, we'll have our max value of second and third column, and now we can easily calculate our scaling factor over here. So we'll keep the scaling factor as float, but when we are passing it to the repeat function, we'll typecast it to an integer, because you cannot print a fractional number of v's or w's. So we'll say float, let's call it scaling factor, and we'll say that, okay, scaling factor is equal to how much? Width divided by max. And here what we'll do, we'll multiply the frequency of, let's say, vowel, in this case vowel of I, and then we'll multiply it by a scaling factor, and then this whole thing will be converted into int. So we'll say over here int. So this should take care of the number of vowels, and then we have to do a similar thing for the number of words. So we go down, and is the order okay? First vowels, then words? Yes, it is okay. Now we have to do the same thing for words. So for that, what we need to do, we don't have to display the sentence number again. So here we'll simply say /t, so that will shift, and this, oh yes, so here we'll make it double w, and then this will become word. We have to do the same thing for that, And then what else we forgot?
Slash T.
A slash T
And
over here.
and
So
so we forgot a slash T error.
slash T. So this takes care of this. And we have to also display the scaling factor when we are out. Isn't it? So we come over here and we'll say
In the above
system dot. Wait a minute, I'm not sure whether this is the part of the output, or anyway, we'll give them the we'll take the benefit of doubt, we'll print it. There's no harm in printing it, otherwise the output. Okay, so we'll say scaling factor.
Yes.
That's it. So that's what we have done. One is scaling factor. Okay, I thought what's happening. Okay, so this is done. Now we have to uncomment the last line. We have to again copy their input. And then we'll write
it
once.
should be 1 is to
And
scaling
probably
factor.
this will be the last time. So let's come over here. We'll paste it over here. We'll press enter. And scaling factor in our case is 1.60 because we have taken a huge width, whatever is available. In fact, we can even take it more so that the output takes more space. Remember the ISC, the board rule that if you are making a graph, 75% of the graph should be used. We can apply the same over here also. So doing that won't be an issue for us. We just have to go there and just make it 80, 90 or whatever the case may be. Right? So the program is generic enough. Any doubts or clarifications? So then it will be multiplied by a fractional number, and accordingly you will get a lesser number of asterisks. So if there is only one word, that one word is max.
Yeah, and then what if suppose the examiner gives an input that is like taking space more than this in a very long sentence, suppose.
So that is okay. That is how you draw graphs. Like for example, even if you're drawing a real graph, if one of the values on the extreme and one of the values on the other extreme, obviously the smaller one doesn't shows up or just shows up as a line or something. So that's the limitation of a graph if you are trying to plot extreme values.
Words, but
we can't do anything about it.
sentence in which we have only one word or two words.
Okay, then that's all for now. Thank you.